Hello and welcome back. This is Disturbing Puppet here playing some more Blood Bowl 2. So today we've got the 7th game of my season. The way I have it set up is a couple round robins, so I'll be playing every other team a couple times. So this will be the last time of playing all of the teams once. The last team I've got up next is a Chaos Dwarf team. In my competition there are 2 Chaos Dwarf teams, so today we'll be playing the second one that I didn't play earlier. So we'll see if it does anything different. So I'll kind of quickly run through the teams. My team I'm playing this season is High Elves. So this season we've got 2 games against every other team, so it's a couple round robins, then we'll go into the playoffs, and just kind of the top 4 teams go into the playoffs, so essentially 1 playoff game and then 1 final. I do like the previous games' setups for some of the custom ways to set up competitions a little better than this one. One of the things it does is with the round robins, it doesn't combine them together when you look at your overall results and stuff. It's okay the way it works. I would rather it kind of combined the 2 round robins together like it was one normal season, but whatever. So this is my High Elf team here. I've gotten a couple things as we've gone along. I started off with only 1 team reroll, and I've added 1 more to that. I wanted to start with an Apothecary because my guys are so expensive, and I've gotten a few upgrades. So I have my Thrower here. First upgrade will double, so I picked up the Strong Arm with him. I started with a couple catchers, both of whom I've added Dodge to. Later I picked up another catcher. Started with only 1 Blitzer. This player's upgraded a couple times now. Added Tackle for the first and Strip Ball for the second. Shadowing was really tempting, but I went for Strip Ball instead. I picked up another Blitzer after the first couple games. He hasn't received any upgrades yet, though. And I have a couple linemen here who've picked up Block. 1 lineman I've added Guard to. 1 lineman who's been injured and lost a point of armor value, which isn't too big of a deal. And then, of course, I added that team reroll. So let's take a look at what we've got for the Chaos Dwarves. The last season I played was a Chaos Dwarf team, actually, so it's kind of interesting that I have 2 in this season playing against. So I'm kind of curious how the AI uses them. Okay, so 6 Hobgoblins. That's Sure Hands. Okay, that's a good skill to have for them. It's the only one. And Kick. Chaos Dwarf blockers are very good players. Just the skills they start with. The movement is a little bit of a problem for Dwarf players. Basically, they're the exact same as a regular Dwarf, the Chaos Dwarfs. All the stats are the same, skills are the same, but the combination of starting with Block and Tackle is really, really good. So then 1 with Stand Firm. I wasn't sure if that was Dauntless or not, looking at the icon. I really wish it just listed the skill names. I know it could be kind of hard in this kind of a format to do that, but when I look at the players and stuff, I always am kind of confused about the icons instead of the actual names. Just list the name of the skills. 1 with Guard. That's the kind of thing I will often pick up with these guys to add. And then he's gotten Block with his Chaos Dwarf Bull Centaur. Okay. Just 1 Bull Centaur. He's got 4 rerolls. I've got a much higher team rating than him, so he's going to get some extra money and stuff. Let me just check on the stream, make sure everything's working. Okay. If anything's off for the sound or anything, let me know in the chat. So before getting into it, I've been playing Blood Bowl since 2nd edition board game. I know I upload these videos to YouTube later down the road, so if someone's watching them, it's probably driving them nuts hearing this over and over again. But my experience is mostly playing kind of bruiser teams. With the board game, I played Undead, and I still do like a lot of the really tough kind of bruiser heavy teams. My instincts with them are typically, hit stuff, make some openings, and then kind of take advantage of it. You've got certain players that handle the ball, other ones you don't want anywhere near the ball. So I kind of bring that approach, especially with this game. When the maximum turn length is 4 minutes, my instincts are often just to kind of hit stuff and make openings. And with an agile team, that's not necessarily what you want to do. It's part of the reason why I picked a more agile team for this, and that I've never played a High Elf team before. I did have the previous game on the Xbox 360, so I played all the teams that were on there. Really enjoyed the Wood Elves, the skills and stuff that they have, and the agility was a lot of fun. So I kind of wanted to do something a little different, and playing teams that I wasn't able to play on there, because not all the teams were available on the 360. So I got a gaming laptop about a year ago and been kind of messing around with games and figured for some stuff, if I'm playing, why not stream it? So streaming stuff here, and then later I'll put it up on my YouTube channel, which is also DisturbingPuppet. So let's start the match. I could spend my own money to get some advantages, but I'm not going to. I am going to kind of throw in some sort of advice or some info for people who might be newer players as we're going through, just to kind of help people out. Some people have a little bit of difficulty with the AI or deciding what to do and how to do it. So just kind of throwing in some basic stuff. I will make mistakes, especially when I'm streaming, and partially attention's divided, and then the timer kind of will rush me sometimes a little bit. So yeah, I'll make mistakes occasionally, but it happens. Not notice things. If that doesn't drive you too crazy, then hopefully you can enjoy the game or see some things that might be interesting. Give you some different ideas of things that you can do. I have been enjoying the High Elf team so far. They've been pretty fun, being able to throw the ball around. Got really good catchers. A lot of the team's catchers have a 2 strength, but the High Elves have a 3, which is really nice. So I can use them as catchers. I could use them as blitzers. I can use them just as regular players. They just have 1 less armor, which isn't that big of a deal. Still having a 7. So my tactic here might be that his hobgoblins are his main ball handlers. Oh, ball handlers. That's my Beavis and Butthead reference there for anyone old enough to know what I'm talking about. But certain teams have players that really don't handle the ball and have other players that do. You're looking at Lizardmen, they've got the Skinks to handle the ball. This kind of team, the Hobgoblins are the main ones that are going to be handling the ball. So there are certain players you can kind of target. If I can take them all out, hurt them, then that's a good thing. So I end up losing one of my rerolls, and he gets 1. It says Halfling Master Chef, which I hate. So he's going to go first. Kicking team sets up first, so I'm kicking the ball to him, so he's going to have it, which means at the start of the second half, I'll get the ball. And I actually kind of prefer that. I like knowing I'm going to get the ball in the second half. Where are my players? Okay, I don't want my injured guy out here. We'll try to advance some other players instead. Your starting setup is pretty important. Deciding what you want to do and how you want to do it can often be dictated by your setup. Where do you put your players, but also where do you put your specific players with their specific skills? With High Elves, what I've been doing is kind of leaving the absolute minimum of 3 guys on the front line. That way I get hit less. That's sort of the advantage there. Have my thrower back to kick, or in this case, throw the ball to him. Have everybody else kind of set up. I'm not putting my guy with guard in the front line because I want to be able to use him to maneuver on my turn somewhere so that I can get assists. I'm actually going to move him back a little bit, so if this front guy gets knocked back, he's not already adjacent to somebody, so he should be free. And with the High Elves, it's kind of what I've been doing, is sort of trying to make sure my guys are as free as possible to do what I want, where I want. I'm just kind of checking which catchers I have where. I'll keep my guys with dodge out on the edge. It's my newer catcher here. The catchers are pretty clear with the white gloves. The blitzers and the linemen look fairly similar, but the blitzers do have kind of the wings on the helmets to help differentiate a little bit. And the thrower has kind of the golden skirt, I guess, something like that. So this kind of a formation, I've got tackle zones covering everything relatively deeply. I've got the minimum number of guys on the front line, so I'll get hit as little as possible. He can only blitz 1 time, so I can blitz and hit 1 guy, throw some blocks and hit guys. So we'll see what he does for setup. Interesting. So I often will just go ahead and kick to this kind of marker, which is sort of the center marker. What you want is for the ball to stay on the field. I want him to have to make die rolls to get the ball. I don't want him to just get it automatically. I get a reroll. That's nice. And if the ball ends up going off the field, then he gets to just pick which one of his guys can have it at the start. I'd much rather have him at least have to make some die rolls to go for the ball. The more die rolls you can make, the more likely he is to fail something. That's what you want. That's too bad. So he's probably going to build a cage around his ball carrier here, most likely looking at a slow advance. Kind of odd to have hobgoblins on the front line here. Again, what I may try to do is just try to focus on hurting the hobgoblins if I can, throwing blocks against them. Of course, I may just get pounded pretty badly here too by the Chaos Dwarves. I may just try to stay away from them with their lower movement, see what I can do. But you got to tie down some of his guys sometimes. So the typical thing in Blood Bowl, do the safe things first, and then go from there. Anything that doesn't require die rolls, you probably want to do first. So if you want to dodge people away, you want to do that later. So like these guys, if I want to leave them to tie these guys up, it's fine. But if I want to dodge them out, get them away from these guys, then I probably want to wait to do that. The guys who have block, I'll probably just leave where they are just to tie people up. So we'll just get them up to start with. And I can close in on the ball carrier from this side, but I can't really make contact. So we'll just kind of move around in a position where we could possibly threaten next turn, depending on what he does. I'm not going to push it to go for it at this point. And I may just go ahead and leave this guy here too, just to tie up the Bull Centaur so he doesn't come back after these guys. I'll leave my thrower back here deep just in case things go horribly wrong. And what I'm going to do here, just kind of move over to sort of cover this side. If he doesn't want to move somebody up or throw a block here, then I can move him in as well. If I wanted to tie these guys up, I could move adjacent to them. Don't think that's super necessary at this point. So since I'm not blitzing on this side because I can't reach the ball carrier, I'll probably just blitz here and hit this hobgoblin instead. Move my guy with guard here, but this way he'll also sort of be in the way of blocking advances in this direction. Use my blitzer with tackle. Just increases my chances of taking him down. No, we got an injury right away. Nice. And what I'll do, we'll move down over this way. I could go for it just to be adjacent to the hobgoblin here, but I want him free to possibly hit people next turn. He probably is going to get blitzed, or at least have somebody moved adjacent to him, one of these Chaos Dwarves from this side. But that's okay. And then I do want this guy to score. If I do get the ball free, he's my catcher who has fewer star player points. So I'm going to actually move him down in case I can get the ball free, try to get the ball to him to get into the end zone. So we'll just kind of leave him there for now. I might need him to attack or give an assist as well. And then I do have this area covered very weakly with tackle zones from these guys. I can move him over to sort of have an additional tackle zone further back. I could move him up here adjacent to have the edge covered. I could move him in to have another way to get access to the ball carrier, another player free that way. I'm going to move up a little bit. My guys have pretty decent movement, but I don't want to overcommit at this point quite yet. That's more of an issue with the slower teams like the Undead, Dwarves, Chaos Dwarves. You don't really want to overcommit. You want to think ahead of what's going to happen, where you're going to need guys. You can very easily overcommit, and then you're so slow. It's so hard to respond to things if they change, or the different sides of the field, moving up one way and then it shifts to the other. Now let's see what he's going to do. So he's moving into some additional protection here. Making it harder to get to that ball carrier for sure. Kind of surprised he didn't blitz in the back there instead of going for the front. Okay, actually didn't do a whole lot there. Don't have a great angle at the ball carrier here, but first things first, just want to keep these guys tied up for now. What can I do with my player with guard? And I can actually move him right in here totally safely. The guard ability gives me an assist on anybody he's adjacent to. I don't have to cancel out other people's tackle zones or anything. So now I do have a good chance at a pretty good hit on him. He's got somebody with guard. Just checking to see if they're here. Okay, he's actually all the way out here. So next thing I'd probably do would be go ahead and throw the block, use my blitzer here, do a blitz action, hit this guy if I can knock the ball free out here, and then try to get it. Just looking if there's anything else I want to do before I do that, just in case things go horribly wrong. And in Blood Bowl, things can always go horribly wrong, so it's not a bad idea to think about sometimes. But yeah, we'll go ahead and do that. Okay, he's gone down. I'm going to stay where I'm at. I don't want to be in that giant mess that's kind of there. See where the ball ends up. I don't want the ball there, so that's fine that he can get it. That's unfortunate that that guy got it, though. I was hoping the ball would end up out in this kind of direction. What do I have left for movement? 4. So I'm going to get out of here if I can. With my high agility, it's pretty likely that'll work without a problem. And I'm just going to get back in to covering what I can. Try to get access to this guy. Well, I can move adjacent to him. It's not a great position to be in, but we'll go with that. And then we'll throw a block here since I have the assist from my guard player. I'll try knocking the ball free again. And I'm going to leave him kind of where he's at, just to keep those other guys tied up. That's not a great position either, but that's okay. Could be better, could be a lot worse. So I may go ahead and try to grab the ball here if I can. But I may want to move this guy away from the bull centaur first. I really don't want him taking shots if I can avoid it. And I've got an 83% chance, so we'll just kind of move out here a little bit. So at this point, he's already going to be within range, so if the ball does get free, I might be able to get it to him to get it in. I possibly could even grab the ball and then toss it over to this guy and run it in if I wanted to this turn. That might be a little crazy. But first things first, I think that's a -2. The chance to pick up the ball is only 50%. I do have a reroll. It's a little risky. I could leave a guy here so I have another tackle zone covering the ball. It makes it less likely for him to pick it up. But I'm going to go ahead and try it. I've got the reroll. Didn't get it. He's going to come hammer my catcher here. Oh, nice. Double attacker down. Just going to be a push because I've got dodge with him. That's all he's doing for the turn. Okay. It's kind of surprising. Thought he would at least throw some other blocks or something. I'd like to at least take out one of the guys who's adjacent to the ball here. This guy would be the easier one because I do have my guy who has guard adjacent to him already. Yeah, so what I'm going to try to do is get him out of here and have him block. See if we can make the dodge. Okay. I'm going to have to go for it to throw it from here, but looking at the angles where I want to push him if I do take him down. Okay, made the going for it roll. All I get is a push, which is unfortunate. I have to push him into the space with the ball. I'll follow that up and see what happens with the ball. And unfortunately, he still has two guys on the ball. Makes it pretty hard to pick up. Not great, that's for sure. Let's try to get him out of there. And I can actually move him around so he'll be adjacent to the ball, make it harder for him to pick up if I can't get it. Again, it's -2, so it's going to be a 50% chance of picking up the ball if I want to try to get it. Not sure I want to take that risk again. It's not terrible. I do have a reroll. If I don't have a reroll, I definitely wouldn't even try. I do have a chance to clear one guy first. It's just a one-die block, but we'll give it a shot. Okay, that'll take him down. That's nice. I'm actually going to stay right where I'm at. That'll make it easier to pick up the ball. So now there's just one tackle zone on the ball, so it's a -1. So it should be 67%. All right, give it a shot. Nice. Can we dodge away? Okay. I'm not going to push it by going for it. I do have a reroll left, but I've had really bad luck with going for it rolls in this game. Actually, the AI has had really bad luck with going for it rolls in this game, too. I've seen multiple times of going for it failing, and then the reroll also failing, both for me and the opponent. I've had games where every single time me and the opponent have both gone for it, they've all failed. So it's supposed to just be a 1 in 6 chance, but it seems a little higher. Bringing him over for an assist, I'm just going to throw a block on the Hobgoblin. The only guys with decent movement, other than the Bull Centaur, the Hobgoblins, and we'll just see if I can hurt him. I'll stay put. So just trying to do what I can to possibly get some injuries on these guys, or knock them down so they're less likely to have that movement to get anywhere. The Bull Centaur is really the main threat for my ball carrier at this point, though. Pretty hot here today. I've got a fan going. I'm hoping it's not too loud. I've got it pretty far away, but hopefully it's not distracting. No. Yeah, KO's fine. I've never used an apothecary for a KO. That would seem crazy to me. You can only use an apothecary once in a game, and you want to save that for deaths or permanent reductions in important skills like agility or strength, depending on what you're playing, the individual guy. I'd like to avoid taking so many hits, but I did kind of get locked into a big scrum here with these guys. The High Elves have decent armor, so it's not too crazy, but some of the other teams like Wood Elves and things, if your armor's pretty low, you want to avoid taking hits if you can. Or you're playing a team like Goblins or Halflings or something. If you've got that stunty skill, you're much more likely to take damage, so you definitely don't want to take any blocks if you can avoid it. Yeah, I can just run right in right now for the touchdown if I want to. This is the guy that I wanted to get some points with. So just looking if there's anything else I want to do. I do have an advantageous block here I can throw, but it's not that big of a deal. Since we both have block, I mean, I've got 2 dice, but we both have block. It's not too likely. I'll give it a shot. I've got a reroll left, so why not? If I didn't have a reroll, I probably wouldn't even bother trying. So yeah, I mean, I can run right in and get the points. Depending on the team you're playing and how things are going, if you're in a dominant position and you want to try to hurt the opponent, throw some fouls, that kind of thing, and you've got their numbers whittled down a little bit, you don't have to score right away. You can kind of move down near the end zone and kind of hang out for a while, move away from the enemies. So things like that you can keep in mind if you want to try to get some other star player points other ways. I'm much more likely to come off bad from any beatdowns and blocks going on here in the long run, so I'm just going to go ahead and run in for the touchdown. I don't even have to go for it. So we'll take the star player points and the level up. Still going to stay knocked out. That's unfortunate. Hoping to get my blitzer back. I can only have 2 blitzers on the team, so it would be nice to have both of them. So I will just use one of my other linemen instead. That's relatively okay. I'm going to keep my guys with block on the front line there. I'm actually going to swap out that other player. Just kind of keeping the guy with the reduced armor. He's sort of my backup emergency reserve. So another thing to kind of keep in mind, if you're thinking about delaying timing for touchdowns and things, pay attention to how many turns you have left, how many turns your opponent has left. If you can end up giving him the ball back with only 2 turns, usually most teams can't score in just 2 turns. Some of them can, so be careful about who you're playing. So we'll call that a good setup. He's going to do something a little different. Same thing, I just want the ball to stay in play. So I'm not doing anything super crazy. A couple guys are going to get hurt. Oh, my thrower. Oh, the ball stayed on play. That's good. Oh, there's a failing going for it roll. Let's see if he fails the reroll. No, this time makes it. But didn't get the ball. So there we go. We've got it, turnover. So that's the kind of thing. He's doing his important stuff first, but ends up messing it up. So that's why you want to try to aim to keep that ball on the field if at all possible. So now I can kind of race down in that direction, try to get towards it. I was thinking I could possibly go for it 1 space here just so that this guy couldn't blitz me. I mean, most likely the Bull Centaur would be the one blitzing, but to give him just fewer options. See, this is why I don't like going for it. Now I've got to use a reroll here. And we still fail twice. So it should have been an advantage, but yeah, it seems more to me like going for it is like a 50% chance of failing instead of 1 in 6 chance of failing. If he could fail picking it up, that'd be great. Nice. I'll use another reroll. Got it this time, it looks like. So it should have been an advantage for me there to go and kind of cause some problems for him. But because I try to do something even a tiny bit risky, it ends up backfiring. I think it's just the going for it. I don't know. It seems really like the RNG for going for it rolls is messed up or something. I know that's kind of the standard excuse for things, going wrong. But if you're playing the board game and you have a lot of bad die rolls, you can kind of, oh, my luck is terrible today. It's really bad today. When the computer does something like this, when it's making these decisions or it's throwing really crazy blocks where it's 2 dice and I get to pick over and over again and it always comes out well for it, you kind of have that natural inclination to think that something's not quite right. So I don't know. Is it something's not quite right or is it bad luck? So just have these guys with block just kind of stand up again. We just want to tie up some of his guys. We'll be a little bit more cautious here. Move my guy with guard out to the edge. Help kind of toughen up any defense that I can build around this area. It'll give me an advantageous block here. We'll start moving these guys in from this side as well. So that's the kind of thing where it's totally safe. There's no die rolls, so definitely do it before you do anything else crazy. I've got no die rolls, re-rolls left, so probably be a little bit more cautious until the half is over. I'll leave him kind of in the center just in case things change. It's not too likely he'll be able to shift things out the other direction. But I want to be able to cover as much as I can. I'll move him over 1 so I have some additional movement options. I can make it all the way to the edge then next turn in case he gets by somehow. So then I've got this guy free as well. Yeah, we'll just move him over as well. See what we can do with him next turn. So throw a block here. And just a push is unfortunate. Follow it up. Don't really have a way through without making dodge rolls, and even if I get through, it's not a real good position to attack from on this side. So I may just kind of move him like here, would help give some additional tackle zones and coverage, or even here, additional coverage down the side here. I think for now, we'll just kind of have him here. It gives me some additional coverage in this area. I don't have to be adjacent necessarily to cover it. I've got tackle zones covering the area. It'd be difficult for him to get through this. So it means it's more likely to try to go for the edge here, possibly, or he might try to force his way out the other side. He could also just kind of mass up into here and form a big block of guys, which is always a decent tactic. If you're a slower team, better at beating people up. But he doesn't have a lot of time left to get a score, just 2 more turns. So we'll see what he does, or tries to do anyway. Yeah, just going to creep forward a little bit. Yeah, there'll be pretty much no way he'll be able to score then if he's just going to move it that far. Yeah, the AI does at least try to move the ball down the field, even if it doesn't have a chance. But it doesn't really take into account sometimes you kind of have to move a certain distance if you want to have a chance to get in. So the AI is pretty decent, but not great. It'll make those kind of decisions occasionally. It's a lot better, I think, in this one than the previous one about especially selecting skills and stuff for your guys when they level up. It's pretty good about picking useful skills instead of almost sort of random skills, it seemed like, in the previous one. Yeah, if he had more time, it'd be really hard to kind of break into this kind of a huge block of guys advancing the ball down the field. So can I get the ball away from him? Possibly, actually. No, not easily, that's for sure. Yeah, because this guy's here would provide an assist if I move somebody down from this angle to try to hit him. I'd have to kind of deal with this guy, or at least have somebody adjacent to him first. So attacking from the different angles, or even moving my guy with guard in here, I'd have to at least be making some dodge rolls first in addition. So do anything safe first. So just in case things go horribly wrong. Yeah, how crazy do I want to be here? So what I can do is I can move here with my guy with guard. I'd have to make a dodge roll at a -2 to move there to be adjacent to the ball carrier to get an assist. Then I'd have to use probably the catcher here to cancel this guy's tackle zone. I could then blitz at the blitzer and have this catcher free if the ball comes free to try to grab it and do something with it. It's incredibly unlikely that anything would come from that. So probably instead what I should just do is beat on people, beat on the hobgoblins, make things difficult. So that's just kind of what I'm going to do. And unfortunately, neither one of these guys has block. If one of them did, I could move over for an assist and actually get an advantageous block on him. If I had block, then I would probably go for it. Since neither one of them do, I may just pull these guys out of that position. So I'm not planning to get the ball here. But if I can make things difficult for him, why not? And I'm actually going to blitz with my catcher just to throw a block on a hobgoblin, maybe do some damage. There's a dodge. That's sure hands. Okay. Glad I checked. It looks almost exactly the same. And you're going to stay put. I don't want you anywhere near that bull centaur. Well, KO, that's something. And then I'm just going to move back. I could move adjacent, but it sort of invites this guy with a lower armor who just got to level up to just get completely pounded into oblivion. So we'll just kind of have him covering this area in general instead of directly on the ball carrier. And I could move him up to get an advantageous block, but he's got block and I don't. I'd have 2 dice, but he has a skill advantage. I've got no rerolls. It's a little dangerous. It's not crazy, but it's a little dangerous. So I'm probably being a bit too aggressive here. But I'm going to go ahead and try for it. And this is one of those times where I think like I'm thinking way too much like a bruiser team player who, you know, an undead player, a dwarf player, that kind of thing. I did free up my other guy. Oh, ran out of time. I actually try not to look at the timer because it causes me to sort of do things a little crazy sometimes. So sometimes I will get caught by that timer. Oh, an injury on a catcher is not good. No long-term effect, fine. I'm saving that for deaths or strength or agility reductions. That's one of those examples where I have dodge, but he's got tackle, so with his skills, could really make it a lot easier for him to sort of beat me up. Pretty aggressive for him to be throwing 1-die blocks here. He's got no rerolls, so it's a little dangerous for him. This is his last turn, so he's just going to do what he can. Tying up all my guys here. There we go, something going my way. So for my last turn here, can I get the ball? If I could get it to him, I could score. Not really a way around to get to the ball carrier there. have him stand up for now. Now if I can take this Chaos Dwarf guy out, that does mean I'd have a chance at getting a good hit on the ball carrier, so we'll try for it. And moving up this way. I'm not going to follow up because I want that space free for me to get a blitzer in there or somebody for an assist on the ball carrier. And I can get a 1-die block fairly easily. To get an assist, I would need to take out this guy, would be the best way to do it. It's a little iffy, but we'll give it a shot. Yeah, it works out. Move him there so he's not in the way. Staying put. We're not moving up next to that guy, even though it doesn't really matter. Sort of, you want to be in that habit of not putting yourself in a bad situation if you can. So we can move him there. And we can have a guy with block, blitz, hit the ball carrier, see if we can knock the ball free in the direction of my catcher. See where the ball goes. Okay. It's not terrible. It's not fantastic, but it's not terrible. And I'll move around this way so I can actually throw a block here too with an assist, which might make it then safe to pick this guy up. Yeah, doing the stuff with no die rolls is always something bad that can happen, and that's what happens. Double attacker down. Yeah, that was actually going really well. I was hoping I actually might be able to score that time. I was kind of picking apart his defense there and getting in towards being able to get to the ball with maybe only one guy on it. Decent chance. No rerolls can really hurt you, though. Things can always go wrong. So his knocked out guy stays knocked out. Hopefully mine comes back. No. I'm stealing all of my rerolls, which kind of sucks. What kind of weird setup is this? What the heck? That's super strange looking. Okay. So he's kicking, so I know this is his setup. This is exactly what he's doing. This is an incredibly weird setup for me. I just want to be able to change it so I can play with it a little bit more easily. I almost never use kind of these preset setups. I don't know why anyone would put catchers on the front line like that. That's crazy. Okay, so I'll keep my thrower back to get the ball, toss it forward from there. Put a guy with block in the front adjacent to those guys. Put my guard guy kind of in a similar position so I can move him up if I want to. There's my other block. Another guy with block we'll put on there. Any regular linemen we'll throw up on there as well. Put a catcher out to each side so I can possibly move up either way if I can get some sort of an advantage. It's kind of weird. It shouldn't even let me do that, having more than one guy there. Since I am down a guy, I may actually put one guy with block out on the side instead of just a regular lineman who doesn't have any abilities. And so I do have a catcher with dodge on this side, catcher without dodge on this side, blitzer on this side, no blitzer on this side, but he does have block, so it's not too offset. Let's not put my weakened guy on the front line, sort of inviting an injury at that point. So these are the kind of things you want to pay attention to when you're setting things up. And actually what I'm going to do is sort of heavily weight things a little bit more this side by having a guy with guard on the front line. So it'll give me a chance to be able to throw an advantageous block, hopefully then throw an advantageous block this direction, pushing things over. But we'll see how it goes. So I get a bribe, okay. It's a free foul, basically, for me. And for him, he's got one too. So let's go ahead and start. I've got a couple dice here, so see what we can do. That'll take him down. That's nice. Follow it up, which will give an assist on the next guy. This kind of a tactic, sometimes you can do that. If you can take each person out, you can actually sort of take each one out down the line because you keep getting assists and assists as it goes along. I kind of refer to it as rolling the line. You start at one end and you can sort of force your way down, taking each person out in turn. Unfortunately, we just get a push here. It helps if you have players who have at least block and or tackle. The more skills you have to take those guys out, the better, instead of just pushing them around. So I'm planning here maybe throwing a block on this front hobgoblin by blitzing with this guy. But we'll see what else we want to do first with these guys that are free. I can't really get through here without making dodge rolls. In case things go horribly wrong, it's not too likely. I'm just going to move him to help secure the ball for now. So just in case he doesn't pick it up, which even though I have an 80% chance, it will happen sometimes. Or I could mess up the blitz here, and then it'll go to his turn. So you want to sort of secure things if you can. Okay, we'll take him down. So I do have 2 dice block here. I could possibly do but I think I want to secure the ball first. I don't really have any good places to move my catcher here. I mean, I could kind of move him up here. I could even move him adjacent to the hobgoblin. Wouldn't be a terrible thing. But we're just going to creep him up here a little bit. I don't really want to make the dodge rolls here on the sides if I can avoid it. So we'll just try to get the ball. And I'm going to move this direction. What I may try to do is sort of fake this direction and then readjust and throw down the field. So if he moves these guys over, and makes an opening, then I'll run down it. So I'll go ahead and try for this. I've got the advantage with the 2 dice, and just a push. Does free up another player here. So I'll just kind of extend the line out here a little better. And I'll kind of move him down, sort of protecting in general. I don't have to move adjacent. These guys are fairly slow. It's the Bull Centaur that might be the problem, really, the only one. And leave him here for now. I'll creep him over a little bit. So if they move over, might create an opening, or we might get a split here where I can move up through some kind of a wedge between his line. It's always good to have a couple different options of things that you can do. All of my players are potentially ball carriers and receivers because they all have the 4 agility, so that really does make it pretty easy for me to get that, at least have a chance at doing some kind of crazy play. It's not super comfortable when you don't have any rerolls to do that, but sometimes you got to make do with what you got. He's really doubling up on my catcher, but not actually blitzing him or hitting him. So I'm curious where he's going to blitz, if anywhere. Just on the other edge, okay. Yeah, even with 2 dice, it can always go bad. So I used his reroll, so maybe I'll get lucky here if he's going to throw some 1-die blocks. Maybe something will go bad for him. Well, that's all he's going to do. Okay. I'd like to get my catcher out of that position. I don't really like him being there. I do have my guy with guard here, so I've got a couple advantageous blocks. I've got a guy free here. This guy will probably just get up. He can just stay there and hang things up. I'm not sure where I want to go with the ball carrier yet. I kind of want to see if I can make some openings here in the front and see what I can make of that. But before I do that, just in case any of those go wrong, I'll try to at least protect the ball carrier a little bit here. I'd also like to get this catcher out of this position. So I'll use my guy with block here first, just to see if I can get anything going. See if I can force some kind of opening here. I'd like to use my guy who does not have guard here, so I can possibly move my guy with guard over and then possibly get some other blocks going too. So we'll use this guy, see if we can get anything. I may be blocking too much. Like I said, it's sort of what I often end up doing. Although mainly I'm trying to focus on these hobgoblins for the blocks and stuff. Okay, so he's got block, he does not. How far can you get? No, we can get right in there. Okay, so you can blitz them. Take out the guy on the end. Hopefully, anyway. And a stun, that's good. Takes him out for a couple turns. Yeah, I'm going to follow that just to get away from the Chaos Dwarf blocker there. So I could just kind of move up here and sort of build a little bit of a cage temporarily around him. I could move up here and hand it off to this lineman, who could then move it down the field a little bit. Probably safer to sort of build a cage around him. The dwarves are so slow I could even stay deep and just kind of move over with a plan of eventually getting open down the field. And even if I hand it off and kind of run down here, he's got guys that can get to him. I'd like to get this catcher out of here too. So first I'm actually going to deal with the catcher. I'm far enough back, I'm relatively safe. Try to get him out of here too. So I'm sort of building a cage here at this point. Sort of the intention was just to see how far I could get with the other guys. The safer thing is, yeah, so just sort of build a defensive formation around my ball carrier. Yeah, we're relatively safe, except for this side. Nailing my catcher here. Right, so that's his blitz done. I'm just hoping my guys can stay on their feet. Hopefully it would be nice. That's why those one dice blocks are risky. And that's it for his turn. Not doing too much. Okay. So looking at what I want to do is, I mean, I can dodge out of here fairly easily and move over. It wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of blitz and knock this guy away if I can. I really should have moved somebody down aside somewhere before and left him there instead of kind of used everybody to sort of protect the ball as I move forward. It would have been somebody I could use as a target to throw the ball to at this point. I do have some guys free though. See if we can break out here one way or the other. In case things go really badly, we'll so we do what we can to protect things. I'd like to get some of these guys away from the other players, but just see what we can do about making some kind of an opening. So we get assists here on these guys. I do have a free foul too. We've got some hobgoblins down. That's something else to think about too. And let's see what we can do for this guy. And then I'll stay put. Oh, KO, nice. Opening things up here a little bit. I wouldn't necessarily mind actually scoring with my thrower. If I can run the ball in with him, that wouldn't be too terrible of a thing. So let's see if we can get the dodge out of here. Okay. And just keep advancing for now. Now I can try to get guys away if I want to from his other players. Sort of freeing up my guys if I can here. Just looking at how to protect, maybe positioning also for a foul here if things go well. Oh, and a KO, that's too bad. Yeah, that's fine, keep in my apothecary. So you never know when things are going to go wrong, especially when you have no turnovers or no rerolls. Those turnovers can come anywhere, anytime you're making dice rolls. So anything you want to do first, no dice is good. Even stuff that seems safe, it's 83% chance, so it's only a 1 in 6 chance, it's going to go wrong. It can go wrong. And hopefully he fails this again, that would be great. Yeah, nice. I love tackling guys like that. I can make it into the end zone. I'd really like to hit some hobgoblins first. It's a little risky to do that, though. This one's relatively safe. 2 dice, and I've got block. Just to at least have that chance to do some injuries. You got to roll the dice to try to hit him first. I do have my guy with guard here, but if I didn't move someone up to cancel this guy's tackle zone, then this block wouldn't actually give me 2 dice because he'd be counting against his strength. Nice, take him down. In case things go horribly wrong, we'll cover the Bull Centaur, has a bit more movement. Dwarves for getting up, it's 3, they've only got 1 space more they can move. So is there anything else I want to do? Not really. I could, at this point, sort of stall. I could stop short of the end zone. He doesn't really have people who can get to me other than the Bull Centaur. He'd use 3 movement and then say 4, 5, 6. Maybe go for it a couple times. Throw a block. Maybe he could reach me at this point. Maybe not much further. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and go for the touchdown here. Oh, actually, it is going for it to get in. I thought it was fine. I have to go for it once, huh? I do not like going for it rolls in general, and I especially don't like them when I have no rerolls. So I am actually going to sit this one out for a turn. And in case things go really wrong, we'll move some people down. That Bull Centaur is really the only one that's got a good possibility of causing me some problems. So if we can get out of there. The dwarves are slow enough that I don't have to worry about them too much if I can get far enough away from them. Dwarves and Chaos Dwarves the same. So we'll just sort of deal with his faster players. I can get out of there. Yeah, just move everybody away from his players. Can only blitz once, so it limits, if you've got nobody adjacent at the start of the turn to any of his players, it really limits how many of your guys can get hit. So really we just have this Bull Centaur to worry about. We'll see what he does with him. I think if he does a bunch of going forward, he's got sure feet and sprint, so he can go for it 3 times. 3 movement to get up. He might be able to throw a block on my ball carrier there. I didn't exactly count it out, but I wouldn't be surprised. He's surrounding my poor lineman there all by himself. He's not blitzing with him because you have to declare blitz before you even get up if you're down, so he's not even trying. Poor little lineman getting pounded. So I do have a good chance at a successful block here on this Hobgoblin. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take that before trying to get the ball in. So I sort of moved in a position so I can throw another block with an assist here. I probably shouldn't even be doing this. Just because it's so dangerous. Anything can go wrong. Yeah. A stun is a stun. I could do a quick foul because I have the bribe. I don't think, since I have the bribe, I'm not sure if it would, if I use the bribe, if it would still count as a turnover. I think. It might still count as a turnover because it was caught. This guy just wouldn't be thrown off the field. So that's really a little risky to do. Tempting, but I'm not going to risk it. So I was just checking chat. Gabman 1030, le hello. Why hello. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. So he'll be down a couple guys. Hopefully my knocked out guy comes back. Nobody comes back. My knocked out guys have been out. At least that one blitzer's been knocked out since the first play going on. So I'm kicking off to them because I scored. This isn't necessarily the way he's going to be set up. That was a misclick. What do we want to do? Similar kind of setup. Nothing too crazy. Losing guys as it goes along here, though, unfortunately. Fewer and fewer players. I'm actually going to swap out. So I have a guy with blitz on the side who might be free. Yeah, it's a little lopsided, but it'll work. Same thing, I just want the ball to stay in play without him being able to choose who gets it. Hopefully if he rolls those dice, they'll fail. God, he still has 4 rerolls. Jeez, he's got one for every turn. Stealing mine really helps. He's got the... Oh, nice. I'll have to use one here. Be really nice if he fails the reroll too. Excellent. Give me a little bit of an advantage. Let's see if I can get down towards the ball carrier. Or not ball carrier, the ball. And the guy who was going for the ball. So unlike last time when I had a break, I'm not going to go for it. We just want to move everybody that we can, try to get some advantages in future. I may go ahead and blitz over here just to hurt Hobgoblin who's on the front line. I could try to go around here, but I end up being on the edge, and you really don't want to be on the edge. It's very easy for them to throw blocks to knock you off the field. It basically goes straight to an injury roll, but even if you don't get injured, you're out until the next time play stops before you get to come back on the field. So it can be a good tactic to try to push guys towards the sidelines and then knock them off, but you really don't want to make it easy for your opponents to knock you off as well. And you can also get knocked off from the end zone as well. So if you move a catcher down in the end zone to potentially have somebody who can score right away if you get the ball. They can also just get knocked and pushed right off, and that's not a good thing. Yeah, we'll do kind of a blitz here on the side just to see what we can do. Maybe get an injury. Yeah, so in this case, like if I push here and then I follow up, so next turn it might be very easy for me to knock him off the field. And I'll move my guy with guard up here. See if we can take out the Hobgoblin in the line. Yeah, just another push. That's unfortunate. I will follow up just because I want to hang up the Bull Centaur here if I can a little bit. It does mean he's probably going to get pounded into the dirt. Same with this guy. Maybe this guy too, but that's what you have to do to tie people up sometimes. You take some blocks. Yeah, I'll move up a little bit here. And I'll leave these guys here to sort of tie up some of his frontline people. Just kind of moving who I can towards the ball and the ball carrier. Mostly it's his Hobgoblins and his Chaos Bull Centaur that can get away and get some movement to head towards that direction. His linemen are pretty slow, so it's not too likely they can do much, even if they get free. But he'd probably rather throw blocks with them anyway. I'd really like for my guys to stay on their feet here when they're taking these blocks, if possible, but it doesn't always go that way. Oh, another injury. No long-term effect. Yep, fine. I know it's getting towards the end of the game, but I really don't want to use that. I've had deaths in the very last turn, so if you've got your Apothecary still, you want to keep them. Save them for those important things. So we're in range of a blitz there. I am going to send this guy up just to sort of tie these guys up in case things go wrong. I'm going to move him down as well. Have more guys in the general vicinity. And we will go ahead and blitz. Hopefully we can knock this ball loose. Nice. Just push him straight back. And we'll follow up. See where the ball goes. If you're near the edge of the field, you don't necessarily want to throw a block in a direction of the side. Sometimes if the ball ends up off the side, it gets thrown in sort of randomly. And that can be really dangerous, because if it goes off, it could end up all the way out here. And if you sort of have control of half the field and he's got a bunch of guys over here, and it ends up getting thrown over there, you're kind of in a really bad spot. So it's something to kind of keep in mind. All I need is a push here. I just want to knock him off the field. Into the crowd he goes. So looks like no injury. Usually it pops up before it even shows you the animation of the crowd kicking. Moving more guys towards the ball here. So I've only got one more turn after this. So if things don't go horribly wrong, I should be able to get the ball and score. It'd be nice. Nice way to end the game. With the Dwarves and some of the other slower teams, you can kind of easily do this where if you can tie them up or get far enough away, they don't really have a chance to get anywhere to your ball carriers or the guys going after the ball, like in this kind of situation. So you can do that sort of against undead, Dwarves, Chaos Dwarves a little bit. But you do want to be really careful about that. You can't always rely on it. Not a tactic that works against all the teams, for sure. And what I'm going to do is try to get out of here and maybe move over to tie up the Hobgoblin instead. The guys with the higher movement. He's kind of in a little bit of trouble there. Poor guy. Just getting surrounded by enemies. He got the ball. Amazing. Please don't hurt my thrower. He's going to push him towards the side here too. Okay, good. Done all that and thrown with a Hobgoblin just gets a push. But now he goes down. Yeah, I'm just going to go right for the ball here. See what we can do. It's kind of a bad position. If I throw a block this way, it's certainly possible the ball could end up off the field. I may come around this way and throw the block to knock him this direction. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. So we'll blitz, but we'll blitz from this side. Try to avoid having the ball go flying off the middle of nowhere in the field here. Ah! I can never have a great, cool ending to a game. It seems like every time I have a chance at something like this, always goes bad. That's a bunch of crap. I mean, he can't score, you know, the kind of thing is nice, but it would have been really cool to kind of last minute, last turn, knock that ball free, pick it up, walk into the end zone. Would have been a really nice way to end the game. Every time I've had a plan sort of like that, it doesn't matter what the odds are, it never goes my way. Jeez, he's charging all the way back there just to plow into my catcher, too. I still have my apothecary just in case. Fail! Fail! No, of course not. If I have bad luck, I want him to have bad luck too. Is that so wrong? Yeah, still, I mean, I win 2-0, but it would have been nice to get another touchdown and get some more star player points and end the game on a high point like that. It would have been cool. Almost always I have a chance at something like that near the end of a game. Oh, I only rolled a 1 for that. Definitely reroll. Okay, that's more money. Fan factor goes up too, which is nice. I never rewatch, so I always delete the replays. Let's take a look at things. Ball possession, exactly the same. It's interesting. I kind of wonder how it calculates some of this stuff. Occupation owned versus opponent's half. 2 KOs, 1 injury. 1 KO, 2 injuries. 66 yards running, 44 yards running. I didn't actually get any passing yards that game. I usually have at least one pass. 2 casualties. Yeah, not a bad mix of star player points there. A couple touchdowns, MVP, injury. So it put me at 6 wins and 1 draw. My first game was a draw against the Necromantic team. So it put me after the first half of the games, first place. Kislev Circus, Furry Entertainers, 3-2-2. One of the Chaos Dwarf teams, Goblin, actually doing okay. Chaos Dwarfs, Vampires, only 1 win. Necromantic actually got a win. They had 0 wins for a really long time. And I think the next, what will happen is usually it just resets everything for the second round robin. I really wish it kind of tallied them both together like it did in the previous game. Had a bit more control over sort of the setups for the competitions in the previous game. And some of the stats and stuff were kind of more interesting to see. I liked how it always kept track of the team with the most running yards, passing yards, touchdowns, interceptions, which players had the most. You could kind of look at all that kind of stuff and compare really easily on one screen. It was nice to see. Yeah, so it's going into the next competitions. All gets wiped. I'm playing another Chaos Dwarf team. This was the one I played before in the early part of the competition. So it's not the team I just played, I think. I'll check the record, actually. Yeah, so that was Obsidian Bloodseekers, and this is the Blasted Bull Gods. So I do have some people who leveled up. One person leveled up, just the catcher. Oh, I got doubles. No other things, just skills. Huh. Do I want any other weird stuff for a catcher? The Nerves of Steel isn't too bad for somebody who's a catcher, and something I can only get with doubles. Any strength ones? Yeah, I think Nerves of Steel, it's not something I can usually get, so it's tempting to take that instead of just something like Dodge. Dodge is still really useful, but I don't always get a chance to pick these other skills. You have to roll doubles on the level up. Ignore modifiers for enemy tackle zones, for pass, catch, and intercept. So really just catch and intercept. Yeah, we can do that, I think. It's sort of an unusual thing to try to have. So it doesn't matter how many guys are around him, they don't affect his catch rolls. And possibly I could intercept with him as well, which would be kind of nice. So we've got a decent amount of money. I do have a couple extra players. I would like to have the full 4 catchers. I've got 3 right now. So I could buy another catcher, or I can buy another reroll. Right now it seems like what's happening is that I have a higher team rating than everybody else, so they're almost always taking the Halfling Master Chef, which means they're stealing all my rerolls, and it's like a die roll to see how many they remove. So even if I add another team reroll, most likely it's just going to get taken away from me anyway. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is just pick up another catcher. So that'll put me to the max. So 4 is the max. I could add another thrower, but I don't see much use unless my thrower gets hurt. 90,000 too. Yeah, I think the catcher is a bit more useful. Rasakeon Taloneth. Sort of, yeah. That's kind of an odd first name for an elf. It seems a little strange, but yeah, we'll just do that. So that'll up me to the full contingent of 4 catchers if I want to use them. And that's something I can guaranteed use, whereas the reroll seems to be taken away from me all the time. It seems like they always are going to pick the Halfling Master Chef, which steals a d6 number of my rerolls. So adding another reroll isn't going to make much difference. Yeah, in this case, it would be 600 higher than the rating of my next opponent. So I'm at 1600, and next highest is 1390. Yeah, that's quite a big difference. So the agile teams often do end up with a lot of star player points. You're going to get more touchdowns. You're going to get more advances that way. So it does happen. Yeah, and we're back to the leaderboard with nothing. It counts it completely separate. I mean, I can look back at the results. Oh, no, I can't. I can't even look at the results. Really? Okay, fine. Be that way. Well, I think that'll be about it for today. I just want to get that one game in. I'm also burning up. It's incredibly hot in here. The fan is not cutting it for me, so I'm going to have to turn on something much louder to make things colder in here. But I really appreciate watching it. Like I said, I do upload these eventually up to YouTube. I've got a previous campaign with a Chaos Dwarf team on there. Putting these up. I've got the first 3 up on YouTube, I think. I usually leave them on Twitch for a while. It maxes out at 14 days, though, so I'll put them up on YouTube about the time they're coming off of Twitch. I just want to make sure they don't disappear completely so people can watch them. I mean, nobody does, but whatever. So I'm Disturbing Puppet here on Twitch, and also Disturbing Puppet on YouTube, so if you want to check out earlier games. And I occasionally play other stuff and kind of look into other things that I might play in the future. But thanks very much. I really appreciate it. Check me out some other time. Still be playing Blood Bowl here for a bit. I'm not sure other things I might play. I am playing Mordheim right now myself. I haven't streamed any of it, and it started off really badly, but it's actually going pretty well now. I got just mauled the first few games, and I actually changed my little group name to The Unlucky Few. As soon as I did that, I've won almost every single match since then in competition, so it's been going fairly well. People might be interested in that. I might be playing some point-and-click adventure games at some point. Kind of looking at mostly turn-based stuff is kind of what I like, especially for streaming, so that may be what I'll have up at some point. But thanks again, I really appreciate it. Have a good day, and this has been Disturbing Puppet.